You're listening to this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. It would greatly benefit the show. Hello and welcome to Movie Baiters with the Farx brothers. I'm Kirk.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Nick.
And we're joined with Brook Yager, assistant director, and writer, I want to say?
Yes.
Oh, great. This is Obsession, non-spoilers.
And Movie Man T.
Oh, right, I'm sorry.
You can see him, but
And Movie Man T.
you all know him from the internet.
Where are you going to start?
I have I can't figure out why I'm connected to you, and it keeps, telling me more about you. I do have a great, topic at the top of this, but me screwing with my phone is way funnier.
Well, I guess we go around. Did you guys like the movie?
What? This one a review show?
We're not a review show, but we could give our initial service level thoughts. I like the movie.
We didn't know who I'm disagreeing with.
Yeah.
Yeah, did anyone dislike it? I thought we all liked it, was the thing.
I liked it.
Are you fixed on the ending now that we, I figured out you and I were wrong about the ending before.
How are we wrong about
Yeah,
that?
well,
we'll have to save it for spoilers.
We can't, we can't.
Okay, let's instead say this movie is very successful. It is uniquely the only movie to, improve on its first weekend this significantly in the modern time.
Yeah.
And so, why do we think that is?
I mean, it's definitely
word of
catching
mouth.
on.
Yeah.
With, I think, the younger demographic more so than
Others.
People my age. I don't think 42-year-olds are the one driving its success, but
I mean,
but yeah, I don't know, but it's definitely catching on, and it's good, and
I work in a movie theater, and I can agree with that. It's a lot of late teens, early 20s, and it is one of those things that I think people are just excited that there's something original and fun. I mean, fun in a sense, it's just really good filmmaking, and I think a lot of people are not really used to that. And I think, because I myself, I can't say I loved the film. I think it was.
Ooh!
Yeah, that's why I want to know who I'm disagreeing with.
You and
I
Nick
think it
might
was
be on
a
the same
very well-made film. I think there's a lot of stuff in it that I very admire as a filmmaker, especially. I know people who love this film. They've rewatched it 5 times in theaters. It's on their Letterboxd top 4, and I can very much admire the film. I don't think I connect with it as much as other people do, because I think just socially, kind of what we're talking about with TV Glow. I guess what we will talk about TV Glow.
Gets the show.
Certain films aren't going to resonate nearly as much with other people. And I can see where this can be a very important film to certain people. But to me, I was just more marveled at how it used the craft to be effective, and that with that increase of viewings on the next weekend, people are watching this film and they're telling people about it, and people are impressed. And I think that alone is a good conversation to have, especially around independent horror. And because I've only know very little about, was it Curry Barker?
I was going to ask if you watched the YouTube channel. I know of this person. I sort of recognized him when I looked him up.
I haven't really looked into it, but I mean, it sounds like he started off with YouTube, doing sketches and stuff like that, and seeing how someone who has that sort of background can utilize horror, especially there's a lot of stuff on the internet, creepypastas and that sort of very niche sort of horrors that if you're not into the internet or didn't grow up nearly as much with it, you might not get that kind of horror. Because I saw that a lot in this film, this kind of creepypasta nature of things.
Okay, I had children explain this to me on a recently recorded episode of the show. And do you know what creepypasta is?
I don't know it specifically, but Backrooms is involved with
Yeah,
that as
coming
well.
up.
yeah, it's
Backrooms
like
is
it's Slender Man is kind of a creepypasta thing.
That's what the kids said.
Stories that get built. Oh, so I have a 42-year-old man has something in common with a bunch of 13-year-olds.
I think they all. What we found out interviewing the 13-year-olds, because you guys are coming on after these won't come out in order. Sorry. Was one of them turned out to be Gen Z, the last year of Gen Z, and the other ones were Gen Alpha.
Oh, weird.
Because one of them was 1 year older. One of them was close to 14, and the other ones were 13 or just turned 13. So it was surprising to me. And I would totally show this to my 13-year-old
Obsession?
niece. Yeah, dude. Because like we watched, what did we watch with her in here?
Annabelle, and Conjuring, yeah.
We watched the Annabelle and the Conjuring in here with my 12. Well, she was at the time 12-year-old niece.
This does have like a sex. It's a brief sex scene. It does.
But you don't
bit.
see anything in the sex. Like,
Yeah, he could. He's just doing this. It's not sex. It's just It's a weird massage.
It was as offensive as grinding at prom to me.
Yeah, I mean,
What are you doing?
I'm just saying you didn't see anything. I'm, like for a movie that could have shown more. I'm interested. I'll save for spoilers my conversational nudity topic because it's interesting how they show bodies, and I would want. Well, do we think there's a difference between how they depict male and female bodies in this movie?
A difference?
I think there's a specific way of showing them. And my early example is the way the Nikki, when she delivers lines at one point early on, and her head is cut off. And I think that's intentional to like, when men see women in bikinis, they have the same like neural pattern flare up as they would with a tool, or it's similar to that than how they relate to other people.
I did notice they framed Bear with a lot of headroom a lot of the time. I did notice that.
I think it's interesting you brought up about like the head up thing, because that is something I very much like notice a lot. Or not a lot, but when that happens, I notice it, and I just know that is a very intentional thing, and especially after watching like the entire film and kind of thinking about it more and what it can say about like relationships and what you're saying with like how like men can perceive like women, especially when they are like this character who is very like almost like pathetic.
Yeah, he's not a great guy.
Yeah, the protagonist is a jerk. I think it would be helpful to know you've seen it once.
Yeah, I've seen the one time.
You've seen it once.
Oh, just the one, yeah.
And you've seen it
Once.
Okay, you've watched it just 2 times.
For now.
Okay, I would totally watch it a third time with my wife in the theater just to get her reaction because I'm very curious, like how she would react to it. How did you feel the second time? Was it better or worse than the first? Same. And it was more fun because I could like turn my head to go, oh, I'm next to some jumpy people. Like when we saw The Conjuring 4, Nick Farx and I, it was like, it sucked. And like halfway through the movie, we both were like, this movie sucks. But Nick was sitting next to somebody that like fell asleep or something.
Oh.
Or what was her deal? But I was sitting next to somebody that kept like freaking out and jumping. And she practically grabbed my arm one of the times. Like, I'm married, but like it made the movie a lot. I was having a lot more fun on my side than he was on his side because the person next to me was going, ah! And last night I was next to 2 blanket people, and I think blanket people jump more.
They think they're comfortable and they're safe, but you're not. It's just a blanket.
I was hoping someone would disagree with me, but thank you, someone who's at a theater.
Gotcha.
You can tell who the jumpers are when they're coming in,
Yeah.
can't you?
Oh, that's what I do when I watch when I used to watch scary movies. I'd be like, if they can't see me from the screen, then I'm not scared.
Yeah,
Wait, you used to watch scary movies?
No, I mean I don't. I think the last time I was really scared by a movie, which actually I was gonna bring up, is I watched Hereditary in theaters.
Hell yeah.
I brought a girl to it as like an unofficial like first date thing, and she didn't talk to me afterwards. But Hereditary.
So sorry.
No, that's fine. I think I love telling that story, and that movie scared the shit out of me. That was one that definitely stuck with me, and I think Hereditary. I had a conversation with some of my friends yesterday about obsession and the idea of like Hereditary kind of causing this ripple and horror. And I feel like I felt some of that reminiscent in this film.
Is this elevated horror? Because Hereditary is what starts the elevated horror.
Yeah,
thing.
and that's.
Is this elevated horror?
I guess I just learned about the line elevated horror yesterday.
From Scary Movie 6 or 5? Or
They use
Scream
it-
5? Is that where they bring it up?
Oh, they
Elevated
do.
horror?
They bring it up.
Scream
Yeah,
5
they
is
do.
where
Yeah,
they
yeah.
bring that, they label
Oh, and
the concept.
and
and
Hereditary
guess-
is a specific example. Yeah.
yes.
How would you explain her, elevated horror? Because I have a thought in my brain, but I can't tell.
Oh,
It's like
it-
maybe I can apply that to this.
What is her name in the Toni Collette, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
She should have been nominated for an Academy Award.
definitely.
Indira, how do you say Nikki, the actress's name?
Indy Navarrete.
Indy
I don't know if
Navarrete?
it's- I don't know if it's Navarrete or Navarrete.
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 Does she count as the diversity in this movie? Because otherwise it's 4 white people. Or maybe
Well, I think
Andy
she-
Richter's daughter
she's
counts
She's
as...
half Mexican, so.
Oh, okay. So it's the same thing I go for. I count as diverse, supposedly. And it's like when I found that out later on, it was like, oh, okay. Well, great.
Define elevated horror.
Definition of elevated horror is that all of the elements are top tier movie level. Like the way it's shot, the acting, everything is like on par or better. Because there are definitely like Academy Award level movies that do not have all of that, but like you give it a pass because it's got whatever thing people are attached to. But like, no, this is a good movie. Plus, it's got that extra thing. Toni
Yeah.
Collette should have been nominated, and the actress who plays Nikki, I will know her name by the end of this year, I'm sure. Say her name for me again.
Indy.
Indy Navarrete. Indy Navarrete should but will not be nominated for an Academy Award. She gave an impressive. It's the Lupita Nyong'o Award for genre work because Lupita Nyong'o has done it multiple times and not been recognized for either Us or Us would be another example of elevated horror.
Are we having this debate now?
What?
Elevated
Amy
horror.
Madigan put a wrench in that. There is a possibility.
You see, that's the thing is that
Because she will be supporting. She's not the lead.
they
They can get away with that.
If they can, yeah. Should they do it? They definitely should do it. But I would. Amy Madigan is a wonderful character actress who deserves all the accolades she got for Weapons. That performance is nowhere near what I'm talking about with Lupita Nyong'o in Us, Toni Collette in Hereditary, or Indy Navarrete in Obsession. They're just not the same thing. Would you, like? Are you willing to concede that to me? You could say no. Fuck you. I've got Weapons coming on 4K in the next. I'm still a fan, guys.
No, I think Indy's performance was better.
Yeah,
That's what
it's
I mean.
more technical. Like this is the thing: is normies can tell she's doing a really good job.
And that's what's the word of mouth right now, why it's doing so well, because everybody goes, you have to see this. Which
But
is my
is it-
first non-spoiler topic or debate. Will this crack 100 mil domestic?
Oh yeah,
It will.
This
Domestic.
It has
I figured
to.
it will,
Yeah, it'll
yeah.
crack because it's already past 60 or something.
Worldwide.
No, it's past 70 or 80 worldwide. It had gotten past.
It's about 50. I
57?
think it did about 58 as of the past with the last opening, second weekend.
Oh,
It brought it to like 58. So yeah, it'll.
we're recording this on my mother's birthday. I've got a text her still. It's May 27th. That's fine.
It's 8:19.
There's still
At
time.
8:19 on May 27th, Kyle Farx will text his mother, Mama Farx. But
I mean, at least you didn't have
as of
fucking
right now,
AI
the movie's
do
made
it
$58 million.
for you.
Because like when this comes out,
Yeah.
we'll know the answer to this already, so you'll know whether or not we sound dumb or not. But I think this is going to crack 100 easy because there's not that much coming out that's interesting over the next few weeks.
Backrooms. That's
Yeah, okay.
coming out
Backroom's going to
Thursday,
be
yeah.
throwing it a little bit.
But that's no, actually, you know what I think?
You can.
Having a good
The buzz on Backrooms is insane right now.
Sure, and that's what we're covering next week with a 13-year-old or 14-year-old, and her mom,
All right.
who's all, both
You
of them are
having a
filmmakers.
14-year-old
Yeah.
back? I thought you already had the.
Different 14-year-old, actually, and
Oh.
We don't
I
know
ne-
a lot of 14-year-olds, just to be fair, right?
well, that's
guys?
kind of the thing about this thing is that like because we're in the game of making movies and analyzing movies, it puts us in contact with folks that are different than us.
Yeah.
Like so I hang out with 14-year-olds sometimes where I would not otherwise, and I'm
Does that
like,
mean I can't drink next week then?
oh no, we can totally drink because her mom's here. We
Oh.
drink at her house when we did the other
Drink
episode.
on. Well, yeah, because the 14-year-old wasn't around. But
That's
whatever.
what she was upstairs. We're in
right,
the
ba-
garage,
back
king
to
of the
it.
hill.
Back
Alright.
to it. Is it elevated horror? I don't think it's elevated horror. I
You-
think the acting's great. The way it's shot's great. I just think it's missing that extra thing to take it to the top. I think It's
Name
very
a different movie and what it has that this does not have. Like, we've given you some examples.
Get Out. I think Get Out is a great elevated horror.
Why?
It's a lot more subtle than this. This is a very straightforward story. You know exactly what this is about. It's a little bit spoilers, but he's like an incel guy who just isn't happy with what he gets. But with Get Out, you have this other message of white people, stealing bodies from black people.
I do think elevated horror, there's an element that makes it elevated horror where it's like the story, even if the concept ends up being pretty straightforward, like Hereditary, it's a possession thing when all is said and done. But it's treated and sort of executed in a way that makes it feel more like like an Oscar movie. You know what I mean?
It's a family drama. It's a horror film disguised as a family
It's a rapper.
drama.
It's a rapper. They take these things and these concepts that may have already been done and that you would get done in. Well, like compare The Exorcist to a million other possession movies. Like compare it to what's a bad one? There are plenty of bad ones.
I don't remember them because I'll see them with you, and then you'll tell me, "Yeah, we saw whatever it was called last year," and I was like, "I don't remember."
Well,
that.
The Pope's Exorcist, the one Russell Crowe. Like compared to one is
Oh, I saw that one.
The term elevated horror didn't exist in 1973, but the reason The Exorcist, if you made the exact Exorcist the exact same way now, that's elevated horror because of how it treats how it wraps the subject matter versus something that's like a popcorn movie like The Pope's Exorcist. So that's what I think is missing from this. Like the acting is the elevated part. Story-wise, I don't think it's that elevated.
I was gonna say the same thing. I think that's why, I think it's a great movie, but I don't necessarily like it. Is because I don't feel this movie as a bigger talking point topic. I guess to me, to me it feels like a popcorn movie, but it's almost elevated from that, where I think it's just very well made.
What are we saying when we say popcorn movie? Like just a movie that people enjoy? Where
the main focus is enjoyment, which is nothing wrong with that, but that
not
is
12 Years a Slave, but also if you own 12 Years a Slave on disc, I'd be why?
That's not a popcorn movie.
That's what I'm saying. Is that's the example of what is not a popcorn movie. Is something that feels like homework.
I think it's a popcorn movie in the sense that you're going for the thrill of watching the acting. The acting is really good, and that's the most elevated thing about it. I think there is they're blending comedy. I mean, it makes sense because of their YouTube background and doing comedy skits, blending comedy and horror in a way that's crowd pleasing. In a way that you can't do horror comedies like Evil Dead 2 anymore, or they historically they always bomb. Like Slither from James Gunn bombed. It has its fan base, but you can't do horror comedy.
But somehow they made Ash versus the Dead for 3 years.
Yeah, but that's a TV though. That's different. That's not a theatrical, a mainstream movie.
But the point is,
there's a reason why now that they're making Evil Deads, churning out Evil Deads, they have the next one already shot before the one. They're not horror comedies anymore because they know they don't do well theatrically mainstream. So I think it's a fun movie to watch because you're laughing at the parts with the over the top performances, but it's a good performance. But it's fun in that way. That's what I think we mean when we say popcorn.
And I think horror fans just want a good horror movie. I feel like you were so used to these Pope's Exorcists. Sorry, I've never seen it, and maybe this is actually.
You do not need to.
Okay, well then that further proves my point. Is I think we're just in a deficit of good scary movies. I can't say. I mean, I guess I don't know if I really like
Sinners.
And very okay. I don't know if I'm very.
Sinners isn't a horror movie.
I don't know if I'm really scared by Sinners.
I was not scared.
It's
by
a
Sinners. I didn't find it. It was great filmmaking, but I wasn't scared by it.
None of you in this room are normal people who get scared by normal things.
I'm sorry. You bring up weapons. I was scared shitless watching Barbarian in the front row of the theater on the big screen, and I honestly I haven't seen Weapons yet. But I had a conversation yesterday about who was that? Zach Greger?
Zach Greger,
yeah. And
Whitest Kids You Know.
It's one of these things. It's him, who was it that directed Obsession here?
Curry Barker.
Curry Barker. They have a very good sense of this genre, and even though I might not be a huge fan of Obsession, I will watch whatever he's gonna put out, because it's very evident that he cares about horror, and it's not just something that is being mass produced. That's not like something that's like, here's The Conjuring 7.
Yeah.
And here's that.
But there's good Conjuring. Like Conjuring 3's good. Sorry.
Okay, let me ask this. Okay, you guys both saw it the second time. Was there something that you picked up that you didn't the first time?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Was there to the level of like Get Out where, because you know the ending,
Yes.
the cop who stops him, you think he's racist, but it's actually the girl doesn't want him to show him the ID because if the cop IDs him, he could ID him later in the story. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's as clever as that the second time around.
Yes, I would say there is.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I'll give you an example. It's not as good as that, but the lunchbox, you can see it on the couch 2 scenes earlier. And I'm not saying what's in the lunchbox. What's in the lunchbox? Wait, have you seen 7?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
What's in the box?
Yeah. The lunchbox comes back.
Yeah, so like seeing like things like that, and then like why, for example, the supporting male actor, why their performance makes more sense when you know the entire story, and so like I think that's vague enough. I want to go to another one of Movie Man T's topics because he looked at the sheet over there. But first, I just want to, and I think this will just play into the rest of the discussion about this either way. I understand why it is the intelligentsia thing to say that Get Out is elevated horror. Yeah. I think this is elevated horror too. Because it is meeting a moment. I hate that there are incels in this world who are wreaking havoc. I'm not exactly sure that this guy like codes as an incel up front, but like
No, probably not.
as could play into any of us. There's a little incel inside all of us. I'm sorry.
And
Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say, Brooke?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I think that's especially something that if I were to rewatch it, watching from the perspective of like, I mean, like watching it the first time, I was like, I really don't like this guy. But in my head, as the entire time, is like I'm thinking of like these solutions that are happening, and I should just watch what's going on in front of me. And I think that's what's frustrating about the film.
That was exactly the problem I had with it the first time, because I had that and I was going like, "Fuck
I
this
just like
guy."
I was frustrated in the entire time, and I think it probably warrants a rewatch because I want to give its due respect because I do think it's a good film. I just for some reason I think that's why like it didn't click with me, and I think I have to revisit it. But yeah, I think I guess that was my point.
Well, okay, hold on.
Can I give you an example? The reason you think Get Out is elevated horror is because it would cause some Democrats to even consider how they're racist. Like, because I would have voted for Obama a third time is like, I don't agree with the concept of microaggressions, but dude, you're being kind of like lame. I don't know if that's explicitly racist, but you might call that micro-racism to be like, I would have voted for Obama a third time. And like when I've worked with Mormons in the past, I have thought of saying, hey, I would have voted for Mitt Romney again.
Were they
as a joke?
were
I would
they
not.
Mormons
If,
in
if
Get
it would
Out?
help you make the sale, you to tell them you vote for Mitt Romney.
No, I wouldn't. But,
No,
Anyway,
No,
not to compare those two things.
I just think it is that is an example of how Get Out is. There's another layer there that I don't quite think is there.
But here's why I think this movie has this is that incel is never said in the fucking movie.
No, it's not.
You know, and I think that's important. But you could watch this movie, I think, as a young person in your late teens or early 20s, identify with the main character, and then learn how there may be something evil inside of you. You need to. It could get somebody to not be an incel.
Yeah,
on some level.
If it explored, I think if it explored that part of the theme more explicitly.
Can I give? Okay, go ahead, but continue.
More explicitly, then you could say maybe it's achieving that same layer of Get Out because it's there are breadcrumbs there. We can think that this guy is like that, but it doesn't like really explore enough of like, hey, what the fuck is wrong with me that I'm. Which you could take and say, oh, that's saying a message about like young men as a whole, right? Which we have a big problem with right
Oh,
now.
there's a scene that gives that away.
Is there really?
Which scene can you say obliquely?
I probably.
Can you say something about the scene that I might be able to give it obliquely? Are you thinking of the
She's
customer
sleeping.
service call?
She's sleeping.
Oh, well, yeah, the sleep when
Yeah,
she's...
that part, sure.
Like, come on, man. Like, you
No,
need-
it's a good scene, but what does
doesn't
it
go
have
any
to do with
further
what
than
I'm
that.
saying, though?
Yeah.
I don't see how
I
it
can't
connects.
say how I feel it says that without...
Spoiling it.
Yeah.
spoiling
Okay,
the
so
movie. Yeah,
save
so I
for
won't say
spoilers. I'm
that.
just saying, like, if I
It's
could
also
be,
kind of discussed in the customer service scene. It's supported by that, so...
I didn't. Yeah, but see that scene, I explicitly remember, and I'm not recalling it.
I'm saying that you need those two vectors to understand, like, this is real. This isn't,
The customer service scene has a different issue that I will debate in the
we'll
spoilers.
say
Yeah,
for
I have a
spoilers.
different issue
I'll
with
try
that
to go
scene,
a different
too.
angle.
I wrote this down. I don't know if it works or not, but is this an anti or pro incel movie? I guess we kind of touched most of that, didn't we?
It's definitely not pro, but it's not anti enough, I think, for me either. It just happens
That's
to be
that's
incel
the
movie.
nice thing.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't. It's not commenting enough on that for me to say
yeah.
that it's not making a statement. So that's why it's like it. My honest take on it is that, like, they had an idea. Like these guys are used to making YouTube clips, right? So they have an idea and they just fucking make it. And like this is just kind of an extrapolation of an idea. It was like. I couldn't tell if maybe wouldn't it be scary if like all the annoying things
I know
about
that's not the case. He made a successful short. They
But
wanted
I'm
to
not
make a
finished
feature
talking.
version. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you would pause. I apologize.
I was in the middle of a syllable, but okay. No, like wouldn't it be scary if all the things that are annoying about having a girlfriend were like we made that like spun that as horror? That I couldn't help but think of it that way the whole time. So I don't think I didn't get the sense that they were thinking about that at all. Even trying to push it forward as a question, not asking, not begging them for an answer to what's right or wrong, but even just putting it forward. I didn't feel like they were even putting it forward as a question.
Pivot to Brooke. I know that that's not the case, but
Oh, and I think I agree. I think, cause like most of the time I just felt just frustrated at him, and I don't think it made me think about a larger demographic as a whole. And maybe that's just because I was so focused on him at the moment and just being pissed off at him. And I think that might be, I guess I didn't have a feel for a discussion afterwards in like a larger note. There was something else that was in there, so maybe you might have to jump over me. But I think as a whole, I didn't feel like it was talking about a larger demographic, and it was the part about like, what if your girlfriend was crazy or whatever like that. Like that came up in my mind as well, and I know that's not what it's trying to say, but it's one of those things is once you release a piece of media into the world, it's up to the viewer to kind of give it its power, and I think if I thought that at some points, who else is gonna think that? And I don't think I myself saw enough of like a counterpoint other than. Doesn't this guy just suck?
Yeah, did you think it was anti or pro?
I can't tackle that. I listened to an interview with him today where he was kind of talking about like why he made this movie, and why he made it this way versus that way. So first it's making shorts, and he made one that was very successful, a horror short called The Chair, that they wanted to make a feature of. After he'd already made the
Milk and cereal.
Yeah, Milk and Cereal, and cereal spelled like S-E-R, because it's about a serial killer. Have not seen. Have you?
I think I watched a little bit on YouTube because it's on YouTube for free, and that was even before Obsession even became a thing. But no, I have not watched it all the way through.
All right, but the point was he got the manager off the short, the chair. And then the manager the manager gets him connected to somebody who's producing movies specifically at this $1 million or less, kind of budget level. And they're saying, can you do a feature version of The Chair? And he's like, no, I've got a different idea. The idea is like this, people just obsessed with each other. The problem is if it's a guy and a girl who are just grossly or supernaturally obsessed with each other, where's the conflict? So this conflict is created. And I think from like societal norms, if it was the other way around, this movie wouldn't work if the girl wished it for the guy.
I don't know. I don't know. We could answer that. We'll have to see
Okay,
if it's
so you-
done
and
cleverly well enough.
Not to, she's got a memoir out right now, but you take Lena Dunham 5 years ago, okay? So she's the main character, and she says, "Oh, I want Robert Pattinson to be my boyfriend or whatever," and like, is that a better movie than this? It's made the same way. I mean, you obviously there's
This will
okay.
this will segue into my next topic.
Oh well, tell me how, because I don't.
Someone asked me to ask this to bring it up as a what if. Does this movie, I wouldn't say work better with a more known cast?
No.
No.
I wouldn't think it
Is
would.
I didn't really agree with it either. It's the unknown cast makes it better.
Yeah, that is one thing. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Adopted Farx father, mine, likes to say that what he likes about British actors is he's not coming into with a perception of them, because how actors are sold in the United States is through celebrity. So you have I'm going to see a Robert Downey Jr. movie. That's a bad example. I'm going to see a Tom Cruise movie, So well, he's not going to be gay, he's not going to be that weird. He's going to be weird, but he's also going to be very good at stuff. Like, he's not going to bump into a table or something. This is Tom Cruise. It's like, no. He's going to flip over the table and then climb up the side of the building for no reason.
Well, I only think it wouldn't be clever. It was the reverse, because we see that all the time almost. Like a stalker boyfriend, who's a little too abusive. You see that a lot.
You're talking about if they reverse the sexes
it wouldn't be
of
as
the-
clever. Yeah. So even though this is kind of clever, I don't think it goes above that. It doesn't do anything else. It's a very straightforward story, like I said before. Should we move to spoilers? I think we hit our time for
Any other
non-spoilers.
non-spoiler topics from you, Movie Man T?
The only other thing I had really was, I wrote this down like a goofball, but I just wrote, can non-horror folks watch this film, or is it for the common folk?
No.
I was bartending and this girl came out after the movie, and they brought up, and their friend brought up something from the movie, and the other girl went into the bathroom and threw up.
Oh, damn.
There are people who are throwing up at the movie at the
A certain scene, yes.
the part
Oh.
where a character may or may not vomit themselves. There's
Yeah.
there's more than one vomit in this movie, and I always find vomiting funny. Like, doesn't matter. Even
Well,
in real
yeah.
life, pretty much.
I
It's
think-
me.
Yeah, just something about it. Like, I guess that's a good question, because I guess I don't know what a common audience is up to for.
I would show. I might ask. I might bring up my Christian mother as a topic later in our interview, and I might. I don't know that I will.
Whose
but,
birthday it is?
It is her birthday. But I could see my sister, who's a normie, adopted, not my Farx brother, trying to convince our mother to watch this movie, because you just turn your head a couple of times. And the audience, I judge people based on how they looked. Sorry, but there's a difference between a horror audience,
Yeah.
and like an audience.
And I think that's why we're seeing such like an up, like, after the first weekend, you see more people coming, and maybe it is something, because like even my sister, I went and she also works at the theater that I work at.
Cool.
And I was like, I'm gonna go see this. She's like, I'm really looking forward to see this. I'm like, I don't picture you to be a horror person at all. But I think, people are just so up and about this movie that, maybe you are getting more common audiences into this film, and that's why you have all these blanket people sitting there.
Well,
It's a water cooler movie. You want to be in the know.
there's also the DNA of Zach Krieger, Jordan Peele, and Curry Barker all coming from sketch, like you brought up, and then understanding what keeps people engaged moment to moment, minute to minute, and then, sure, we can debate whether it works for 100 minutes. I say yes. And
Oh, I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying,
I know some people want it shorter, but I think it's fine.
No, I think the
What would
length's
you cut?
fine, and I think that is something they all have in common. I think it works. I think they're finding a line. I think these people are finding a line between.
These people.
Well,
Sorry.
like,
All right.
I think between maybe two because look, what did Hereditary? Yeah, it was A24's like most successful movie at the time, but what did it gross? Like 45 million domestic, not a blockbuster. So even though I love Hereditary, but like that's the honest truth about it. Like, I think they're finding a line between elevated horror as we've known it and just what's the other end of the spectrum? The fucking I Know What You Did Last Summer 4 from last year, which was god awful.
Well, yeah, Hereditary
that's-
goes too hard too early, whereas this movie ramps up to how hard it goes. You look like you had a thought.
Oh, because we're talking about horror and comedy. That's like one thing that I've especially like grasped onto from like being in film school is that people who have this sort of sense for the like either or genre just seems automatically adept to the adverse, which is very interesting because they seem very polar opposites. But then yeah, you have like this Jordan Peele's, Zach Cregger, you know, these people who are so used to comedy and stuff like that, being able to pull off horror. And I noticed that when writing my script, that which we'll talk about later, writing a horror script, I can't just help but like notice moments that are just very funny. And I think we find comedy in scary things because it freaks us the fuck out. And I think that's something about this film that it's like, I'm so nervous that it's actually kind of funny. And
Yeah, it's nervous laughter.
yeah, exactly. I'm very guilty of that, and I think it is such an interesting phenomenon. And there's a whole history, I feel like, between like why those genres are so popular, because in history they are like usually the cheapest that you can manufacture for films. And at least like from what I learned, they were the most accessible genres because they were cheap. So you have a lot of like, I remember like early feminist films were made for very cheap, but they rely on like horror aspects, or even just like any minority group clings to those genres because they're cheap and they are very effective. And I think both genres historically just have had like this little dance, and I think it's very fun that we're able to see that in stuff like this now, especially.
I think they found a good balance. Oh, I think these filmmakers have found a balance to do comedy and horror that previous filmmakers haven't done, because if you look at horror comedies, they made stuff that was supposed to be scary, funny, and like people love Evil Dead 2 and Slither, but like people are like making jokes while something that's supposed to be scary is happening, and that's like kind of like the mainstream audiences don't.
Because you don't
get
like
that.
Freaky. You don't like Christopher Langdon?
I liked Freaky. See, I'm not against horror because I like Evil Dead 2. I like Slither, so I can like Freaky. I didn't want him to do a Scream movie because that's too much. That's too much.
Comedy when you're horror.
Yes. The thing, like if you've seen Scream 4, there are like 2 moments in Scream 4 that kind of ruin the movie. It's where people are making jokes while they're dying, and that's too much. And that's kind of like an extreme example of like how horror comedy has not clicked with mainstream audiences over the decades, because it's too much like that. You're making jokes, you're making light of stuff that should be scary. But like these movies, Jordan Peele and Zach Cregger and now Curry Barker, like they're working comedy in a way that doesn't dilute the horror. Like it's more natural, I think.
Authentic, yeah.
It's kind of like an unintentional comedy in a
Yeah,
sense.
it's like it's situational. Like, oh yeah, it kind of would be funny. Like you hate to admit it, but there would be some humor in this, but it's not diluting the horror. So I think that's why it has nothing to do with them being elevated or not. I don't think that's a totally separate thing. Like yes, Get Out, I'd say is more elevated, because of like thematic reasons. But like as far as crowd pleasing, I think these people who like come from comedy backgrounds know how to do horror comedy in a way that mainstream audiences click with.
Well,
I think it's authentic.
yeah, I think
Go ahead.
we had to move on to spoilers.
Spoilers!
Cut it short. Thank you for listening. For more JK Productions, find us on Instagram at JK Productions Team and on Facebook, JK Productions MN.